Recording going. Perfect. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us for this month's Direct Care Workforce Collaborative. We're so happy to have so many of you here. I see a lot of familiar names and faces and then some new ones as well. So welcome. I'm going to take us through just some quick housekeeping and then we'll hop right into our agenda. So we are recording. You should have gotten that little alert. And so that's just a reminder not to share any personal or identifying health information. And just know that these recordings are posted to the Direct Care Workforce Collaborative website for folks that weren't able to join us in real time. And so that's just kind of a reminder that don't share anything that you might not want shared out to other folks. Please use the chat. I have several team members here that are helping me manage the chat. You're able to drop questions for our presenters, comments. We'll just continue monitoring that regularly. We will have the slides available after the meeting. They will be posted to our website as well, which I'm going to drop in the chat right now, along with the recording as well. And so we'll have the presenter slide as well as the HCPF slides for all of today's presenters. If you're listening by phone, welcome. Thank you for joining us. You can always press *6 to unmute your line to participate or *9 to raise your hand, and we'll keep an eye out for that. I have turned on closed captioning, so you are able to see that or turn that off via the live transcript icon at the bottom of your screen on the Zoom toolbar. And then as always, information for this meeting, past meetings, and all of our upcoming action group meetings can be found on the Direct Care Workforce Collaborative website, which again, I just dropped into the chat. So with that, let me take us into a quick overview of today's agenda. So we're just going to do some quick attendance. Like I said, I might wait to do the polls a little bit later, maybe after the leadership team update, just to let folks trickle in from other meetings and things. So we'll do that. We have an update on the public awareness campaign as that wrapped up at the end of last month. And so we're going to get some takeaways from that. We have several ARPA project updates, including one from Beyond Campus Innovations with career pathways and a few other updates from our team. We're going to have time, hopefully, for an open forum to just share announcements, ask questions. Just that's a time and space for attendees to really share what's going on in their space. And then we'll do some resources and closing there at the end. So it'll be a quick agenda, but it should be great and tons of great information. So I will go ahead and just do kind of like a roll call attendance right now before we do the polls a little bit later. So if you just want to share in the chat your name, your location, and like your role or title or kind of how you're connected to the work, we'd love to just get an idea of who's here, do maybe a little bit of networking, see who you know, maybe who you don't know, who you'd like to know. And so we'd love for you to do that for us. And while that's happening, I'm just going to go through this really quickly. Like I said, I see a few names that maybe haven't been here before. And so if this is your first meeting, we just want to welcome you. We're so excited that you found us. We'd love to know how you found us. So you're welcome to kind of share that as well. But if this is just the Direct Care Workforce Collaborative, and so it's that larger meeting that happens quarterly. And from that larger meeting, we also have 3 action groups that meet bi-monthly. And so those are an hour long. That's training and career advancement, compensation and benefits, and value and awareness. And so the purpose of the Direct Care Workforce Collaborative is really dedicated to advancing the public's general awareness of the direct care workforce. They really want to focus on compensation and benefits, training and career advancement, and really publicly recognizing the significant value of the direct care workforce just in all healthcare sectors. And so really just elevating the direct care workforce, coming together to learn what's happening in this space. There's a ton of great work happening, not just in HCPF, but in other state partners as well. We know our agencies and providers are doing some great stuff on the ground as well. And so really this just comes together. This quarterly meeting is really about information dissemination, and then those action groups really take on more of a boots on the ground role in those bi-monthly meetings. So welcome if you're new. Like I said, I'm going to do the polls after our leadership update, as long as we have one of our leadership members here to take us into that. I do see Oliver on the call. So Oliver, are you ready to take us into the leadership updates?
Yeah, great, excuse me. So we've had a few changes. My name's Oliver Giminero. I'm a collaborative co-chair along with Penny Whitney. In our other action groups, our value and awareness, Brooklyn and Pascal, I believe they'll be making an update. Um, I don't know if anybody from our compensation and benefits team is able to make it. Deborah, are you here, or Ashley?
I believe Deborah is not, and I don't see
Great.
Ashley either. So it's a very
Um,
busy time for our
yeah,
folks in the legislative world. Yeah.
um, and so in our compensation benefits, they were able to get the Colorado Secure Savings to do a presentation during their last meeting, and they I don't I'm sorry, I'm a little unprepared for this, admittedly. I forgot what they presented. And then they also have resources for direct care workers relying on public assistance. There was talk about Medicaid expansion and how people are able to receive Medicaid and to try to avoid the benefits cliff. Um, and then in our career and training advancements, there are a lot of changes. Two of our previous co-chairs weren't able to have the bandwidth with all these things going on. So Brooklyn had to step down from co-chair, and also Jen had to step down. But it's really exciting. Jen brought somebody along, Bobby, who volunteered to be a new co-chair, and the leadership team had a meeting with her, and she's very well um, has a ton of experience in training and career advancement, and she I think she's going to be a great fit for us and really work with us, be a good fit for our team. So we're excited about that. Um, Brooklyn or Pascal, are you guys here on the call?
I'm here. Brooklyn's here. So,
Pascal to
um,
Brooklyn, go
cool.
ahead and
Um, I just need a couple minutes to get my notes together. So, and then I'll be ready.
Pascal, do you want to take us through maybe
yes.
what we're planning for this later this month?
Yep. I'm gonna chime in and then I'm gonna start in Brooklyn. You can chime in. Okay. My name is Pascal Adu. I'm a co-chair of the Value and Awareness Group of a collaborative. So we have been working, hardly to get this next, I think the week of April 8th to the 12th, Director Workers Appreciation Week. That's the second year that we're gonna have this appreciation week. We had that last year where we had a proclamation at the House and the Senate to appreciate directors, workers. We know how hard they work, and also we just want them to be valued because this industry, we are lacking a direct work of this workforce because of, the compensation and benefit issue because of a lack of training. So we just want to make sure these workers get appreciated every April from the first week of April. So next month, April 8th to the 12th, we have a direct care workforce appreciation week. If you're an employer on this call, a consumer, please make sure you appreciate those workers that are, doing an amazing work. And also, we have a resolution acknowledgement at the House floor on Monday, April 8th. We are very excited about it. Senator Young is working closely with Deborah at the Capitol. So we're going to have a resolution acknowledgement on this House on April 8th. If you're available, come stop by and see those director workers at the Capitol, congratulate them, acknowledge the work they're doing. Brooklyn, you can chime in. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Sorry, my headphones just died. Right, it was time for me to chime in. Okay. So yes, we are starting with the planning with the DCW Appreciation Week. Brooke started a jam board with ideas to brainstorm on what to do for Appreciation Week. And I'm pretty new to it, so I'm still learning the role about it. So we have the Jamboard. Brooke, I don't know if you could put that in the chat to share with folks, so that they
I
have
sure can.
Cool, awesome. And then Pascal and I had the opportunity to meet with Lori Crawford, which I believe she is on this call today. So she's a program manager for Maximus, and it's really going to help us bring awareness to the direct care worker role. And so we're connecting with her and, talking about going to the HCBS conference in August. I'm very excited for that, just to bring more awareness about the role and how important it is. Let's see here. And Pascal and I believe, are meeting with, let's see here, to talk about Appreciation Week next week, regarding about what we're going to do and steps, and just so that way the co-chairs can really take on that role and have more of an emphasis and just be very present with that. So.
And I just want to say, if you like to participate in the operation during the appreciation week, please reach out to us. And I believe Brooke can put an information in the chat. Whoever want to participate, it's open to everybody, because that's what we're here for, right? For the direct care workforce. So please reach out to us, give us some idea how you want this week to be special for those direct care workers. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Pascal. Thank you, Brooklyn. And we will be having a Value and Awareness Action Group meeting later this month on March 22nd. That's a Friday. It's going to be at 1 p.m. And so you can get the join information for that on the Direct Care Workforce Collaborative website. And we're going to kind of use that as a little bit of a working session, I think, to really start planning. We should know more too about the resolution. Might have a draft of the resolution that we can share with you all, and just really start planning for the next couple weeks. So we hope to see you there. All right, Oliver, would you like to preview? Let me get us to our next slide here. The topic request form.
Yeah, so this is exciting. A lot of what we do is disseminate information and share a platform for people to do presentations and present to this big group of people. And so what we did is we created a topic request form. And so this form can be used to either request a topic to be presented if you're a presenter, or if you're with an organization and you want to present a topic and share with this group, this form can be used to start that process. Also, if you're someone on this meeting and you want to see something presented, you can request that a topic be presented with this form also. And so it's a great idea to get your input and provide it to the group. All submissions are not guaranteed to be presented. The leadership team will look at them and decide if it's appropriate for this group. And then we'll get back to the stakeholder or the presenter and let them know what our decision will be. But yeah, so we're really excited. I think Brooke probably put a link, there it is in the chat. So use that form, and I believe it's on our website. Is that correct, Brooke?
I'm hoping to get it put on the Direct Care Workforce Collaborative website in the next week or two, hopefully as the presentation is also posted.
Great, thank you. So yeah, I really encourage anybody to use this form if you want to request a topic, or if you're a presenter and you would like to present to the group. I think this is a great way to get that information to leadership. So thanks for, yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Oliver. So yeah, we will get this posted onto the website, and it'll also be in the notes as well that go out with the slides. And yeah, we encourage you to take an opportunity to look at that. I do have a question in the chat here from Dr. Kelly. How often does this group meet? We are meeting quarterly for this big collaborative. The Direct Care Workforce Collaborative meets quarterly, but then we do have those action groups that meet bi-monthly as well. And so Dr. Kelly, if you'd like more information, I will put our email in the chat, and you are welcome to reach out to be added to those invites. And that goes for anyone too. Anybody that likes to be added to the invites, just let us know. Let me get that dropped in here before I forget. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and launch some polls now. It does look like we've kind of stabilized on our attendance here. So if you wouldn't mind, this is just a great way for us to really track the reach that we have, the folks that we're making sure that we're well represented. And so I'm going to launch the first one and just which region you represent for us. So I know a lot of the folks that join us here today have services across the state. And so if that's the case for you, just go ahead and answer where you live, where you reside in the state. And I apologize, if I have assigned you as a co-host, you might not have the ability to respond to these. I apologize. Give it just another second here. All right, that looks good. Let me share the results here. So we have good representation from our larger regions, regions 1, 2, and 3. Normally we have a few folks that join us from region 4. I know we've had some in the action groups the last couple times, but not able to join us here today. And then certainly in our Southwest region, that Dolores, La Plata, Montezuma, San Juan, actually just like the whole Southern region. If you know folks in that area, we'd love to get some more representation. I think the leadership team will do some targeted outreach to try to get folks from that area to join us. All right, let me take us into our second question, which is just really how you identify on the direct care continuum and how you're connected to our work. All right, that looks like it has stabilized as well. Let me share these results. So we do have a direct care worker joining us, individuals receiving services and family members. And of course, we're always well represented by our employers, our advocates, and our government agencies. If you did select that other and you'd like to share, we'd love for you to drop that into the chat. I see that Jenny's done that already. And so we just like to know how you're connected. We know that it's a tough time for direct care workers and family members and even individuals receiving services to make it in the middle of a workday. And so what do we just ask is the information you receive in this meeting, I'm sure you're all connected to direct care worker outside, just share the information with them that you think might be beneficial. That's a great way to share the word and really get it out there and have them participate in a way that makes sense, because it is tough to get to these meetings, we understand. All right, and last but not least, just how you heard about us. All right. All right, so we want to thank our employers and our advocacy agencies for continuing to share the word. We love that there was another direct care worker out here able to share the word as well. But as usual, one of the best ways that folks are hearing about us is that HICPUF newsletter communication. That's the constant contacts that comes out of the Office of Community Living. So if you're not connected to that but would like to be, I'll drop a sign up link in the chat here. Maybe. I will drop a sign up link in the chat as soon as I copy and paste it. Perfect. There we go. And so that can get you connected, not just for meetings like this, but also other stakeholder opportunities that are happening in the Office of Community Living, whether that's related to the workforce or just other opportunities in that office. So that's a great way to stay connected with us and also other work. All right, that's all I have for polls. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. And so at this point, I would love to hand it over to our friends over at Circuit Media. I believe, Anud, you are on, and you should have sharing permissions. So I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Brooke. Can everybody see my screen?
We sure can.
Perfect. It's the presentation. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you everyone for letting us have the floor. I'd like to begin today's presentation with a little introduction. I'm Anud Said. I'm the project manager on HICPUF's public awareness campaign, along with my colleague Jessica, who you may have seen previously. I was also in charge of message development for this campaign. The public awareness campaign came with a certain set of objectives. I wanted to highlight the value and importance of direct care workers in Colorado. I wanted to highlight the diversity among direct care workers, not just in terms of identifiers such as race and gender, but also in terms of ability. It wanted to instill pride and respect for direct care workers in Colorado. That would lead to recruitment and retention. And I also wanted to provide resources for direct care workers, families, and those interested in the field. So how do we go about it? We went through a few initial processes at first. We determined who we are talking to. We obviously got a lot of demographics from HICPUF, such as age, gender, location, but especially with this campaign where we wanted to talk about how different people can be direct care workers. Those were more general. So we had to hone in through different methods by developing personas. So some of the personas we considered were a recent graduate, a stay-at-home mom who already is caregiving, a retired professional, or a person, an individual with a disability. And we listed hypothetical motivations and challenges that those people in that persona may face and what barriers they have from joining the direct care workforce. So after that, we listed out existing media outlets and evaluated it through our media matrix. The matrix evaluates each outlet for its ability to reach our determined audience, cost, and the consequential ROI, and the ability to analyze the results of the campaign from this outlet. Each category is weighted differently depending on priorities, and when the score is typically above a 5 or 6, that's when we recommend the outlet. And then we dove right into the message development process. We listed behaviors and attitudes exhibited by our audience and how we can appeal to them to consider direct care work as a profession and a career, as well as raise awareness about this line of work. During our brainstorm sessions, we began to realize the real length and breadth of the profession, and we wanted to create messaging that encapsulated that and create ads that portrayed that diversity of work. And we also fortified our brainstorms with message testing that through a survey asked respondents their thoughts on color palettes, what emotions it invoked, and what they think of when they hear the phrase direct care worker, and what could make them visit the website, and whether they consider being a direct care worker as a career. So with that information, we ended up developing some collateral. These are some of the ads we came up with. We came up with 3 ads featuring 3 duos. So there's Sarah and Megan, Ari and Ashley, Aurelio and Manuela. And while 2 of these ads are in English and one's in Spanish, all 3 image ads were actually bilingual. They were both in English and Spanish. We tried to highlight how differently the scenarios of being a direct care worker show up. Sarah was a former corporate employee, chose to become a direct care worker. She appears younger and was available to be a good partner in the outside community also for her client. Whereas Ari and Ashley are a mother-daughter duo, and Ari determined that this was a better way to take care of her daughter. Aurelio and Manuela, Aurelio talks about his childhood being raised by his grandparents and how he taps into that experience to be a pillar of support for older adults in the Latina community. He says that he now has multiple grandparents, and this is all discussed in the video ads as well. But we also featured them in static ads or image ads, as one can see. We also had some ads out in the wild. We spotted them on the RTD buses as well. And we developed some material for a career pathways infographic, just to kind of show what kind of different qualifications direct care workers have, what are the activities that they do, and what kind of career paths can being a direct care worker lead you to. We also had a presentation that gave an overview of the campaign. These are all on the website's landing page, on the campaign's landing page. So how did it fare? We had some numbers. The campaign landing page, we're waiting for some more updated numbers. The last report we had was from the 10th of December. It looks like there were a little over 10,000 views on that page from over 8,000 unique visitors. The video views on the HickPuff channel are considerable. They're nearing 1 million views across all 3 videos. We noticed that Ari and Ashley's video view count is lower. We'll get to that in a few slides as to what could be the probable cause. We have 87 DCC site signups as of 20th of December, so there might be a higher number. We have over 15,000 Colorado Sun podcast listens, over 800,000 CBS digital views, 1.7 million plus impressions on Denver bus gates, but that comes with an asterisk. We'll get into that as we discuss the campaign overview further. And a little over 800 unique accounts reached on Instagram and Facebook together, with over 4.8 million impressions. Some more campaign numbers, as we can see. These are more digital and broadcast numbers. So NBC Telemundo, which was our Spanish broadcasting partner for television, reported over 600,000 impressions. These are the top impression providers within the NBC Telemundo conglomerate. And then 9 News had a performance metric of 250,000 impressions. You see this figure called a CTR, which is a click-through rate. It's a percentage based on the number of clicks you get for the number of times that someone has had to see the ad. The higher the percentage, the better. Our typical benchmark is for campaigns like this is 0.35%. And it looks like 9 News kicked it out of the park. CBS, not so much. They struggled given the amount of impressions they had. Impressions is the number of times you view an ad. 5 impressions can mean 5 different people viewing the ad or the same person viewing the ad 5 times. Reach is a more definitive, unique user number. And then Lamar, which is our outdoor advertising partner, forecasted 1.7 million impressions throughout the course of the campaign. So then now that we have this overview, we want to go over some successes and challenges. Let's begin with the successes for social media overview. Well, we found the biggest success with the social media campaign that Circuit Media handled is that the audience was very balanced. If you notice, Instagram ads had a mostly younger audience from the ages of 18 to 34. So that's 2 of the youngest age categories. The audience skewed female, with the exception of January, which we also noticed on Facebook. And we tried to place it with the ad, but Sarah and Megan's ad was what was out on January, so it wasn't even Aurelio. So I guess it's just an observation that more male viewers were reached on Facebook in January. And then we tried to see what was the daily click-through rate in each month. And in November, it was a Thursday that had the highest click-through rate. In December, it was a Friday. In January and February, it was, oh, sorry, that was for Facebook. For Instagram, November was a Thursday for the English ad, Tuesday for the Spanish ad. December, it was a Thursday. January was Sunday for the English ad, Saturday for the Spanish ad. And in February, it was Saturday for the English ad, Friday for the Spanish ad. And please note that this is not a pattern of the highest click-through rate day of the week across the month. This is just in the month, the day that happened to get the highest click-through rate. We noticed that English ads had higher click-through rate on Instagram, and February ranked higher in terms of click-through rate in terms of the month. With Facebook ads, mostly the viewers were older adults, so 35 to 44, 55 to 64. So it almost complements the Instagram audience. And the highest daily CTR in November was Thursday, December was Friday. In January and February, it was both Monday for the English ad, Wednesday for the Spanish ad. And then the click-through rate on Facebook was higher than Instagram. And Spanish ads had higher click-through rate on Facebook, again, complementing the Instagram audience. And January ranked mostly higher in terms of click-through rate on Facebook, with the exception of the English ad, but then it was number 2. November was number 1. And that typically, for a lot of campaigns like this, the earlier ads perform better because more people click, because less people know about the ad. So they're curious and they click. For YouTube, mostly the audience was younger for the English ads, 18 to 24, but Aurelio and Manuela's video, which is Spanish with English subtitles, appeal more to the older audience, 45 to 54-year-olds. And that makes sense given Aurelio talks about being raised by his grandparents and being a pillar of support to the older adults in his community. The ads across the board on YouTube skewed male, complementing Meta's audience, which skews female. And all 3 videos had the highest clicks on a Monday. And Aurelio and Manuela's video led to the most website visits. So as mentioned, the audience, we tried to get as many sections of the audience through different media outlets as we could. Let's get into some challenges. Particularly when working with media vendors, there was inconsistent reporting. Some media vendors give you a dashboard and you can take a date range. We were trying to get our metrics out bi-weekly, but a lot of media vendors, when they were delivering analytics to us, they could only deliver it to us once a month with the invoice. A lot of times, which leads me to my next point, which is not all media numbers are equal. When we say impressions in social media and digital impressions, it's more definitive. If I have seen a video 5 times, that's 5 impressions. Whereas for broadcast and outdoor media, impressions are more like a forecast. So outdoor media providers like Lamar, when they say 1.7 million impressions, they're forecasting that based on foot traffic of the area that the ad is at. And so it could be, because impressions count, double count, repeat, it could be a daily commuter. And we don't know if that person's actually spent time seeing the ad, interacted with it every time that the impression has occurred. Same thing goes for broadcasting. It's more to do with what is the viewership of that program during which the ad is being aired. And so it's more like an estimate. Radio has been particularly tricky to get numbers out of. Our radio partners, except for the digital wing, have been a little shy of statistics. It's hard to get numbers with radio, but the value for radio is that if you want to target a particular type of audience that drives a lot for work or drives a lot during the day, it's a great way to reach them. It's a great tool to use for multilingual campaigns. Because all you need to do is give the radio producer an English script and they can translate that for you. So even if it's beyond bilingual, there are some languages that team members don't speak and cannot translate. You can always send an English script to a radio producer and they'll translate it for you, and you can reach audiences that don't necessarily speak English or Spanish. Outdoor also provides some value, which we will notice in the survey results that I'm going to discuss soon. We also encountered some technical difficulties, both from the media vendor side and our side. The media vendor side, we recently were reaching out to one of our partners, Outfront, that is a magazine dedicated to the LGBTQ community. They were non-responsive when asked for analytics for a while, and when finally asked for more frequently, they mentioned that they had accidentally paused the February ads. The February web ad particularly, which was out of our control. Had there been open communication, maybe we could have prevented that. So that is definitely a challenge of working with media vendors. That can be a problem sometimes. Some technical difficulties on our side when we were dealing with social media. Meta has a tendency to flag ads as special category ads. So in the beginning, it flagged our ads as employment ads, as recruitment ads. So we couldn't, let's say, cater to a certain gender or target a certain ethnicity, because that is considered a discriminatory practice, because if it's an employment ad. It eventually realized that it wasn't, and in the last 2 months, and we could specify the Spanish ads to be for those who have their language set up as Spanish on Facebook, because I, as an English Facebook user, would find it really, I probably would not click on an ad that's in Spanish because I can't understand it. And YouTube, we face that. I just want to revisit the point of Ari and Ashley's view count being significantly lower. When we were monitoring the YouTube ads bi-weekly, we realized somewhere in the middle of the campaign, there was a glitch on YouTube where it linked Sarah and Megan's ad on Ari and Ashley's ad box, which is interesting because we were getting views for Ari and Ashley's ad. And suddenly there was a thumbnail with Sarah and Megan's ad on it. So we changed that, and that may have caused a higher uptick in Sarah and Megan views and reduced Ari and Ashley's views. That may not be the only reason, but that could have definitely contributed to the reduction of views. But that's where regularly monitoring your ads helps, because then you can obviously change things around. We also want to discuss some evaluation challenges, which could be that a lot of our survey respondents, as we will discuss, are people involved in the world of direct care work. So they already have a base level knowledge of the profession, more than a base level knowledge. And so sometimes it can be tricky to evaluate the impact of the campaign, because is this knowledge coming from the campaign, or is this already base level knowledge? So just want to give that as a just an FYI. And then we can move on to the survey results. So it is ongoing, the survey. It'll be open till March 17th, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. But as of now, we're noticing that most of our respondents are the age group 55 to 64-year-olds. And a third of our respondents have seen the ads. Most of them are direct care workers or have a loved one who's a direct care worker. 43%, around 43% claim to have seen it on social media, followed by outdoor. So that's where I say that even though those outdoor numbers are inflated, it is the second most popular way that somebody has seen our ad. And then 41.67% claim to have rarely seen it, as opposed to daily or weekly. Most people recognize Aurelio's ad in both English and Spanish. So that's, we notice that pattern, which is great, because generally caregiving spaces tend to skew female a lot. And we wanted to show that, you know, anybody essentially can be a direct care worker. Most said that they felt informed and about the profession, as well as the value of the profession after seeing the ad, and they claim that spotlight videos and the career pathways infographic were considered the most informative about the work. There was also consensus about the acronyms not being favored, which is understandable, because without the context of what DCW stands for, to just see DCW bolded can be a little tricky for people who don't have the context and the background of the world to know what the ad is about. And then we move on to recommendations on how to take this campaign forward, or just, it's either best practices or learned lessons from circuit media. What are other ways a pattern can be determined? So when we were doing our biweekly monitoring, especially for social media, we were trying to find a particular day that would be most popular for clicks. And the information was very scattered. But what we saw was we noticed another pattern was forming, that a certain age group was enjoying Instagram ads more and a certain age group was seeing the Facebook ads more. And we tried to make assumptions about what their routine looks like. And so we determined that for Instagram, because the audience is younger and typically would be going to school, we thought Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., because it's the weekend, is a good time. And Monday and Tuesday from 6 to 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is a good time to show them the ads. Facebook, because the audience was older, we decided Sunday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is a great idea. And then Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, we factor in work hours. So 6 to 9 a.m. and then 12 to 1 p.m. for lunch hour, and then 3 to 9 p.m., factoring in those who get done with work before 5. And it did produce valuable results. If you look at the monthly CTR performance, where February and January were actually the higher CTR deliverers, because we concentrated our ads during the time where people are willing to see them and click on them. The second thing that we recommend is regular monitoring of ad performance. It helps you understand glitches. It helps you, make changes if there are any changes needed to be made. So regular monitoring is very important. And then to ask oneself, are there any special days or holidays that are relevant? We made sure that we kept in mind what the conversation on social media is about. So for instance, we didn't have Friday recommended as a day to advertise in January and February, but in February, we made the exception for 16th of February being National Caregivers Day. Also in November, given the occasion of Movember, we decided to feature Aurelio and Manuela's ad because it's a month focused on men's health. Keeping in track of the conversation on social media keeps you on top of the algorithm and makes it more likely that your ad will be seen. And so it's always good to have a finger on the pulse in that regard. Our next steps are campaign evaluation. We're fully in evaluation phase this month. We, as mentioned, still have the evaluation survey ongoing. It's linked here. I can share the link in the chat if that's okay, Brooke.
I had dropped it, but please drop it again.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, I may have not seen it, but we encourage you to take the survey because we would love to hear from you. And Circuit Media is currently working on providing an evaluation recommendation report next week. We are so happy to have worked on this. This is a profession that is so well needed in this community, and it's been extremely rewarding. I open the floor to any questions if we have time, or are we going to take those later?
We have time now, and I would actually really encourage anyone who's considering their own media campaign or any sort of media that you're doing for a hiring event. You have a captive audience, so I'd encourage you to ask Anud some questions on lessons learned. And we did share the website in the chat as well, and that will remain active even after the public awareness campaign has ended. So Heather, please.
I would ask, what would be like maybe the most bang for your buck, and how much, I hate to say this, but what's the least amount of money we could spend to have maybe the greatest amount of getting that information out or access? If you could offer a little bit of new, that'd be great.
Yeah, and that's a very good question. I think the question for that is, what is the highest click-through rate? And that is hands down social media. It's guaranteed that the impressions are being viewed by people, and for the least amount of money, because also you don't need to have a minimum spend. You can spend how much ever you want. And it can be a ceiling, and you'll still get a better click-through rate. The only downside is that not everybody necessarily has the best internet connection. You will miss out on certain audiences, but for the most part, it's the most effective way monetarily to reach people. I noticed there's a question regarding the focus. But
that's something
Heather,
probably.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, I just was going to call out Dr. Kelly's question that was there a focus on serving people with any certain disabilities when promoting the direct care work career pathway? And we can probably speak to that as well, Anud, in addition to that. I think we were really trying to encapsulate all the folks that could be a direct care worker, but also all the different kinds of people that they could work and assist and support and help. And so there was no real focus on a specific disability. In fact, we wanted it to be very broad and have a lot of variety. And so I think we captured that. I hope we captured that. But yeah, certainly wanted it to be more broad in regards to that. Anud, Heather, anything to add?
Nothing of great measure, but I remember when we were brainstorming, when we were thinking of incorporating people with disabilities, oftentimes we would go down to the wheelchair route. Like, when we would talk about conceptualization, we always made sure that we were not only talking about a certain kind of physical disability. So that was definitely in the forefront of our mind.
Yep, I would agree. I mean, we would love, across the spectrum and across the settings. It gets a little bit challenging to do that, but we wanted to consider everybody.
Perfect. Thank you. Her follow-up is just, yes, maybe the question is more about how you chose to display diversity. And so, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Thank you both. Any other questions for Anud? We do have a few more minutes if there's anything. All right, well, I won't belabor the point, but Anud, thank you so much. Thank you to Jessica and the Circuit Media team. We enjoyed thoroughly working with you all. And for this group, we'll continue to kind of keep tabs as information comes out. Again, the website is going to remain active. And so I really hope that we're able to lean into that information that Circuit Media put together for us as we go in that Direct Care Worker Appreciation Week. And also just as you move forward with your recruitment and your other strategies, remember to use that too, like use it in your own hiring or whatever. It's there for you to use. So we want that to be a great resource for you. Heather, please.
Sure. And I think Dr. Kelly kind of put it in there as a call to action to share. Yes, we have that information on the site. Please use it. Please feel free to tailor it all to, maybe you have your own ad going and then say, hey, here's a site. Because the part of that, if you go to the Direct Care Spotlight, it will take you to the Direct Care Career Center, which is where you can also post your jobs if you are eligible. So HCBS provider, home health provider, PACE, you can then post your jobs there. So it is a good way for all providers to be able to say, hey, highlight the video, highlight any of the social media ads, the posters we have on there, tweet, add your aspect there. So you're calling attention to the broader need, your own agency, and then directing them to that Direct Care career site. They get the resources. Eventually they'll have the modules. You'll learn about those and the soft skills you'll learn about today. And then also you post your jobs there. So then that really is a direct line to say, hey, here's what it is. Here's where you can find a career. It should be able to come full circle. And so we would really welcome folks to use those and test them out.
Perfect. Thank you, Heather. Yeah. And just as a little foreshadowing too, and talking about coming full circle, we will talk about the Direct Care Career Center a little bit later in our updates. John has an update for us on that site. So we'll get to that as well. Well, great. Anud, I think we'll let you loose. Thank you so much. And if y'all have any questions, let us know. We'd be happy to connect you with Anud and the Circuit Media team as needed. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With that, I'm going to move us into, I'm not going to share my screen because I'd immediately have to unshare it. So I'm just going to move us into our ARPA initiative updates. And we're going to start that actually with a presentation from Beyond Campus Innovations. But I'm going to kick it to Heather really quickly to just do an intro. Her and Whitney are going to talk a little bit about the program, and then we'll pass it to Marty to get us going. So Heather, please.
Thank you. I just want to, because I know we're talking about modules, we're talking about a lot of stuff. Just kind of want to paint a little bit of a better picture so folks kind of understand what we have. So you've probably heard a lot about our standardized core curriculum. That is the standardized training modules and specialized modules that we are working with UCCS, University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, to develop. And those are standardized training for folks to enter the field and then maybe to grow within the field, but still at more of an getting started kind of a level. And so while we talk about modules, we talk about some different stuff, we really are looking at two different ways of doing that. And so we have standardized curriculum modules, and then we have career development soft skill modules. And so that's what you're going to learn a little bit more about today. And I'll kick it over to Whitney to kind of paint a better picture of that and then pass it on to our presenter.
Thank you, Heather. Yeah, so this presentation that's coming up is really about that career development soft skill modules. They are working on modules for the direct care workforce. For those that are interested in getting involved, interested in learning more, and wanting to see what sort of skills are needed to just get into the field, and whether or not they already possess some of those skills and how to enhance those if they do. And then there's also some career highlights and pathway options being developed for healthcare roles that direct care workers could move into if they decide to go into more of a medical field. So I'm going to pass it off to Marty now to give more specifics about what BCI is working on, and you guys can see all of the great developments happening. So take it away, Marty.
Thank you, Whitney. And as I hit the share screen button, I need permissions to share my screen. Brooke, if you can help me out there, that'd be great.
You should be good to go. Sorry,
there
Marty.
There we go. Nailed it. I think I threw you a curveball. I logged in with a different Zoom account at first. So that was on me. Let's try this. Zoom is always fun to try to share screen, but I believe you're seeing my screen now. And as Whitney said,
we sure are. Looks good.
Great. ACC and BCI have teamed up with Whitney and team to create these direct care workforce modules. The magic word of the day, highly focused on providing additional training for essential skills for our direct care workforce. And then, as Whitney said, providing them a glimpse into health careers on opportunities that are available to them should they want to extend their career into a healthcare setting. So we're here to talk about that. Briefly about me, I'm from Beyond Campus Innovations, the Vice President of Workforce Strategy, and I get to have the privilege to partner with community colleges, technical colleges, hospital organizations, the state, a whole bunch of different entities to create online programs. And when I say online, it really is like a modern online learning experience paired with video oftentimes. And then here with me today is our fearless leader, Julie Beggs. Julie, I see you online. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So glad to be with you today. We are preparing for Snowmageddon. So I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it, but I'm so glad that I'm here and been able to hear all of the good work that you're doing. We are just honored to be part of this work. I happen to lead the unit at Arapahoe Community College that's focused on economic mobility and workforce innovation for our community and for the greater state of Colorado. And we love partnering with Beyond Campus Innovations and HCPUF to make this happen because we want more people to be economically mobile and involved.
Thank you, Julie. And then not with us today, but integral to this project is our fearless and amazing project manager, Samantha Sands, who is actually somewhere behind the walls of Julie's office, currently at Arapahoe Community College, doing filming for this project for some of our simulation experiences for what it looks like to be in the health careers. And I think Whitney is there as well. At ACC, also being part of that filming experience. So thank you for being over there today. ACC and BCI are not new in this space of being partners in the healthcare training programs. We've done a few programs in the past together before this HCPUF project together. We first started our partnership with developing a contract tracer program during COVID to help folks that were contract tracers actually learn about different health career opportunities that were available to them after hopefully contract tracing was gone and they had opportunities to advance their careers into healthcare should they want to learn more about healthcare. So we started creating some training programs a few years back during COVID for that. And then last year, I believe it was, we teamed up together to create basically an online medical assistant training program, which is a really neat opportunity available through ACC, where apprentices can go through an ACC program to become a medical assistant almost completely online and do their clinicals while working. So ask Julie about more of that program. It's a great opportunity to transition into a healthcare role. And then we launched the Colorado Health Careers Collaborative together, which was another program designed specifically for young adults to also learn about healthcare opportunities as well. So the healthcare space isn't new to us, nor is the essential skills to really push into what it means to be a professional and to support the work. So specifically, as you've heard about different components of the project that we're working on together, I want to narrow it down into basically 3 buckets. You heard Heather and Whitney allude to our e-learning modules. So one major component of the work that we're doing together is targeted specifically to direct care workers in the space currently to upskill and excel their work as direct care workers, to really become professional communicators, folks with empathy, communication skills, as I said, know what it means to be a true professional in this space and to just help them grow as a direct care worker. And you'll see what those modules are here in a minute. A different component of the project is to provide training and learning opportunities for these direct care workers to learn opportunities to advance their career or transition into a more specific career in healthcare itself. And so should they want to transition into more of a hospital setting, we have created e-learning modules that showcase 5 different careers in healthcare that are entry and mid-level career spaces that are accessible through certifications and or credentials. And a component of the e-learning modules for the career space are virtual job shadows. And so that's what Whitney is doing right now. And our friend Sam, who I introduced earlier, they are creating a virtual or a simulated patient experience so that these direct care workers can see what a day in the life is like inside of each of the careers that we're spotlighting. So that they have an opportunity to understand whether or not it's intriguing to them and if they want to pursue that opportunity. A component of that is also interviews. So we are interviewing about 8 to 12 different healthcare professionals inside of these careers to learn about the day in the life, how they interact with patients. A lot of these careers are human-centric and passion projects. And so to learn how you can take your direct care work skills and translate those into a hospital setting and not lose the work that you were doing as a direct care worker. But it's really, it's an easier transition to see yourself inside the healthcare space because you still have that very human-centric component and relationship component aspect of the work. So those are the 3 buckets that we're doing and that we're going to be pulling together for this project. First, I want to highlight then the essential skills. So again, the essential skills are learning modules. Each of them think about 30 minutes long. That will be translated into all the languages that are basically available in Google, which is really exciting. So they're going to be hyper accessible to any learner with any primary language other than English. And these are to help our current essential direct care workers even excel further into their career. And so I won't read to you the list of skills that we're developing, but here they are. And you can see that most of them are geared towards just being able to become a better direct care worker. These skills get translated into the e-learning modules. Our e-learning modules, again, are targeted to about 30 minutes each, and they're designed so that a direct care worker can engage in each module independent of another. So you don't have to progress through each of the 20. Ideally, you progress through each of the 20, but if you have your favorites that you want to start with, you can start with those favorites as well. And I would love to give you a sneak peek into what one of those modules looks like. And to do that, I have to stop my screen share and start my screen share. And I believe I successfully transitioned this time, unlike the last time I presented. Thank you, Whitney, for the head nod. I appreciate the positive feedback. And I'm going to hit play and just show you what these look like. We are creating these learning modules inside of a program called Articulate Rise. It's an e-learning software that provides for tremendous ADA accessibility. We provide a navigation page on every single module to help our users understand how to use each of the modules. They also have the opportunity to skip this page if they want to skip this page, or they saw it on the first module, but they don't have to do it on the second one. So e-learning is designed to be hyper interactive. And so you'll see this program is more like a scroll-based learning program. It kind of looks like a website, a highly accessible website where you can flip on different interactive elements to keep you engaged inside of the learning. We designed the learning to be small bites of information. So you see the banners have like one sentence each, and then short bursts of paragraph informations. And again, that whole idea is to keep the learner hyper engaged throughout the module. So those are in development. We have created each of the 20, and now we're just in the Q&A, the functional assurance process, and Whitney and team have their eyes on them to ensure that they're meeting the needs of the essential care work. The essential skill work. Whitney, do you want to provide any extra color on this part of the project before I transition?
No, I think that was great. And I know we'll have time for questions. So if anything comes up, we can address those.
Rightio. Then I am going to transition back to the slide deck, and maybe I'll be 2 for 2 today, which is just amazing. There you go. 2 for 2. All right. So transitioning over to the other side of the project, we wanted to provide our direct care workers an opportunity to see other opportunities of career growth, career trajectory inside specifically healthcare. So we know that there's a lot of patient interaction and a lot of emotional attachment and relationship building inside of healthcare, and wanted to show that all the wonderful skills that our direct care workers have currently in their professions can translate into healthcare careers as well. There are a tremendous amount of entry-level, mid-level healthcare careers out there, but we had to narrow the scope down into 5 for this project. And so we chose 5 that were accessible either through an associate's degree program or a post-secondary certificate program. You can see the list of 5 on the left. We are sometimes asked, why not nursing? We all know we have a tremendous nursing shortage. We need more nurses. We need to help people understand nursing. We couldn't agree more. And that is a fantastic point to make. And we also know that folks have a small understanding of what nursing is, and wanted to highlight some careers that folks might not even know exist. And so that's how we narrowed down into this list of 5 careers, because maybe we don't even know there's such a thing as a respiratory therapist. So what is a respiratory therapist, and how do I get involved with respiratory therapy? So that's basically the foundation of these 5 careers. I wish the project was 10, 15, 20 careers, because then we could highlight all of them. So each career will have its own e-learning experience as well. So think of 5 additional modules. Inside of the modules, we have sections of learning. Presented here are the sections of learning. So there will be an introduction to the career. What does a day in the life of the career look like? What skills, knowledge, and personality traits do I need to be successful in that career? Wages and employment outlook, education, credentials. How do I actually get into this career field? And then, of course, providing a summary. So there's a lot of content in there. Content alone is looking to be about 45 to 60 minutes worth of just scripted content. But we also understand our current environment, the modern day learner, if you would, that really also wants to see and engage and not just read. And so this is where the video element of the project comes in as well. So when a user clicks into each of these sections, they will be provided both a simulation of a component of the career, that's the filming that's going on right now at ACC, but also the interviews. So when you look at the day in the life likely will have a simulation that the user will be able to see a simulated experience of that career transpiring, but also we are folding in interviews with our healthcare professionals who will also be sharing their own personal stories about what the day in the life of that career looks like. That way we continue to have a fully engaging user experience. And so all out, each learning module is targeted to be about 90 minutes each, with about 25 to 30 minutes of video for each. This was at ACC campus yesterday and the day before. This is at the beautiful Sturm campus. If you've never been, I'm sure Julie would love to take you on a tour there as well. But on the left, we are interviewing a respiratory therapist. And on the right, we are preparing for actively filming, a true simulation itself. And so you can see that the cameras are more dialed into the patient experience, and when it will go through the post-production process, that will actually look like a clinical setting, a hospital setting, and we have a patient and we have our respiratory therapists there doing their thing. And so now I get to see actually what a true patient experience looks like. So where are we heading for the rest of the project? So many pieces coming together all at the same time, but we are hopefully finishing filming today and tomorrow, but probably not tomorrow because of Snowmageddon. And then hopefully we can get back to campus on Friday. So the filming, if nature is willing to let us do it, will be completed this week, which then throws us into a wonderful video post-production process at the same time of us finalizing those career modules and the essential skills modules. And then, of course, we will pass all those through our internal ADA accessibility testing and then through the state accessibility testing as well before a final project handoff to HICPUF, Whitney, Heather, and teams by the end of June. And with that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And if I don't...
Thank you, Marty.
Yep.
Yeah, so there are a handful of questions coming in, actually. What I'm going to do is go through a couple, and then Whitney, I'm going to have you speak to career pathways because I think that's going to answer a handful of them. And so let me start. It looks like you're having a conversation with Tara about direct care workers who are not in the hospital or medical settings. And I think career pathways will speak to that. But more specifically, Jamie's asking, do the learning programs reach out to rural areas? How are we incorporating our rural folks?
Okay, so I'll start with the rural area question first. So these soft skills and the videos are all going to live on the DCC website, so the Direct Care Careers website, and will be accessible to anybody who is able to get into that. So as far as rural communities go, that information will be available to them. We'll just have to make sure that they know that it exists and they can access and get into that system to see it. For Tara, when you talked about HCBS supported community connections and highlighting direct care workers in that space, the essential skills modules that we are working on are specifically keeping HCBS services in mind and thinking about the fact that direct care workers are often in that HCBS waiver workspace, and thinking about the skills that they use when they are providing services. So there won't be specific videos for supported community connection, but all the essential skills will support the HCBS work and services that a direct care worker is typically doing and working in that space. So I hope that answers that question. Another part of my work in the ARPA 1.06 project is highlighting lots of different career pathways that a direct care worker has. And I'm also using an HCBS waiver lens to map out pathways that are available to a direct care worker working in HCBS services. And I am happy to connect with you offline to talk more about 1.06 and the career pathways that are being mapped out if you are interested in that.
Perfect. I see Dr. Kelly has a few questions. So she's asking that these will be available free online for small companies, PASAs, to use in training their DCWs. If so, how soon would they be available, or volunteer to beta test these? And so that might be a chance to talk about 1.03 and 1.06, I would guess. So.
Yes. So there was another question from Dr. Kelly a little bit further too about if there's certificates for completing those modules. There will be certificates that can be printed out. We haven't 100% figured out what that looks like yet, but that will be accessible, and it'll be for each individual module. So if an employer is interested in sending one of their workers to take these modules and then have confirmation that it was completed, there will be a certificate that can be printed for each of the 20 modules for somebody. And then the second part of the question, Brooke, can you refresh me?
Yes. Her second question was any plans to make a day in the life?
I had to scroll back up, sorry. So yes, they will be free and online as long as somebody can get into the DCC website, Direct Care Careers website. Heather, I might need you to speak to the availability of these. I know that BCI's project is targeted to be completed by end of June. However, I'm not sure how soon we'll be able to get everything up onto the website and active and accessible.
Yeah, we still have, it's really hard to say because we have to get them, make sure that we, you know, that the scoring package works. We'll definitely put out blasts via the Constant Contact. So that would be a great way to stay up to date on when they will be available. So if you are not already signed up for Constant Contact, please do that. And we'll get them out there for folks to be able to take. There will not be beta testing of the soft skill modules. We are looking at doing some different testing for our standardized core curriculum. And again, any of that information that we put out will always be in Constant Contact. And that usually comes out 2 days a week. So that'll be the easiest, quickest way to get folks up to date on when those options are available.
Great.
I'm going to have to pause us here. I see there's more questions coming in, but what I'm going to do is put these in a document and get these questions answered for you, and they'll go out with the notes just because we have to move on to other agenda topics. And I know Whitney and Marty are happy to answer questions as they come in too. So make sure that if you have questions, drop them in the chat, and I will make sure that those get answered and sent out to the group. So I appreciate all the discussion. This is great, but I just want to make sure we give our other folks a little time. So I'm going to pull up the slides for our next ARPA update with Justin. Justin, would you like to introduce yourself while I get your slides? And thank you, Marty. Thank you, BCI team. We appreciate you.
Yeah, let's get going.
Sorry, Justin. Really quick. Sorry, I just want to say I'm going to drop my email in the chat if anybody wants to connect with me specifically on any of these questions. Sorry. Go, Justin, go.
Oh, you're all good. Oh, okay, where was I? My name is Justin Melton. I am the training fund administrator for the ARPA 1.05 grant. With ARPA ending in the next year, I wanted to run through some updates and changes to both the provider grant and the individual grant. So as far as the provider grant goes, for anyone unfamiliar with the provider grant, we're offering a reimbursement-based grant of up to $100,000. So keep in mind, it doesn't have to be $100,000. It can be anywhere from it can be anywhere within that range. So, and it's for home and community-based services, long-term home health, and HCBS training providers. So if you're a provider and you're looking to provide a training to direct care workers working under any of the 10 HCBS waivers, you can also apply. So these trainings have to be higher level, specifically helping direct care workers advance within their careers. And they can't supplant existing onboarding training. So like it can't be first aid, it can't be CPR, QMAP, safety care, that kind of thing. Recording stuff. Recording has begun. So if it's something your organization should already be providing, we can't fund it. And yeah, I will drop a link to the ARPA 1.05 training fund in the chat. So if you want to take a look at that, that'll kind of give you a broad overview of what the provider grant's all about. If you scroll up, you'll be able to see the individual grant. So, and yeah, let's see. You can also learn more about the final provider informational webinar, which is scheduled for Tuesday, May 7th. However, if you're interested and have more questions, I definitely encourage you to reach out. via our workforce email, and because there are only 2 grant cycles left. So our current grant application cycle will end March 31st, and award announcements will go out on April 15th. Our final application cycle runs from April 1st to May 31st, with award announcements being made on June 15th. And if you're awarded within either of these cycles, you'll have until August 30th to complete your grant. So August 30th is when ARPA 1.05 will end for both individuals and providers. So we're looking, essentially, because time is running out, I've compiled a short list of quick trainings that providers can complete within the remaining grant timeline. I'm going to drop them in the chat, but please explore them with the caveat that they're not at all comprehensive. So if there's some sort of idea that you have, there's some sort of training that you want to pursue that's out there that is not on this list that I have made, it doesn't mean that it's not out there. It doesn't mean that you can't build it. We just have a limited amount of time within the time frame. And B, so even though I have looked at these trainings, it's really important to vet them. I haven't vetted them to the degree that a provider who would want to take them would. So just to be sure to read through them, if you're interested in any of them, make sure that there isn't something that I missed. And yeah, just be diligent in planning trainings if you're interested in using any of these. And here is the list along with the links. And yeah, we have, didn't somebody say something? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought you were done. Continue, Justin, please.
No, I'm going. Sorry. If there's a pause, it's only because I'm dropping something into the chat, and then I might get a little lost in my notes. So bear with me. So yeah, take a look at them, vet them. If you find anything cool, feel free to reach out. If you have more questions, please ask us. If you have your own training ideas or other trainings that you have found, please fill out an application. We also have a list of awarded provider trainings in the ARPA site to use as a resource for training ideas. And here is the link to that, which I will also plop in there. Paste. Oh, I didn't actually send. My message was too long for my trainings. I'll try and plop half of them in there and try again. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can send this instead. It is still too long. I might compile an actual document and send it out to everybody who came with the list of trainings, because it doesn't seem to want to take all of them at once. You know, it's Zoom. So anyway, now for the individual grant. I'll work on getting them in there while we're talking at a different point. So for review, the individual training grant is a reimbursement-based grant of up to $500 for HCBS and direct care workers. Same eligibility criteria for the provider grant. They have to be high level skills. They can't be supplanting within your career. We've made some changes to how the application process works. So originally, we were asking individuals to find trainings that are 60 days out, and we have refined that process to a much narrower window. So we can now, our plan is to be able to get back to be able to approve trainings within a 15-day window, which is way better for individuals who want to take trainings. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 60 days. And I think that was a barrier for folks who wanted to take those particular trainings. And yeah, and then reimbursements will be able to be made within 30 days. So once you've paid for the training, we'll be able to reimburse within 30 days. And I think that is the big thing. We wanted to approach the individual grants with more of an, as an individual who has been in direct care work, it would have been very difficult for me to plan something like that. So we wanted to be able to both narrow the timeline and allow for more trainings to occur. So all applications for this grant close on June 15th. However, we are looking at extending that just because we have a faster timeline now. So there's still, even with the June 15th deadline, there is a lot of time to get grant applications in. And I think that is about my spiel. Thank you all. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'll try and figure out how to get all of my little trainings into the chat. And yeah, if you have questions, feel free to ask. And I think John is up next if you don't.
I'm actually going to throw a wrench in things here. I'm actually going to take us to our open forum just to get announcements in before 11:30, and then I'll have John kind of finish this out. He may go over a little bit as he does his updates and stuff, and you are welcome to stay on, but we understand if you have to drop off as well. But certainly want to make sure John has enough time to go through those great updates. So I'd like to just forward us Just don't mind my scrolling here, but I'm going to take us to our open forum. And this is just where you can share announcements, ask questions. And so is there anybody on there who would like to jump into the open forum? And you are welcome to just come off mute or drop it in the chat or raise your hand.
Hey, Penny. Brooke, I'm sorry. This is Oliver Gimenero. I just wanted to include a couple surveys, excuse me, from the Bell Policy Center. They're asking surveys be filled out. There are two different surveys, one is specific for caregivers, and specifically for unpaid caregivers. If you're a paid caregiver, you can still do the survey. And then another survey is for providers. And this information will be used to advocate for better investment in the systems which provide essential care to elderly or people with disabilities. And so if you have a chance to look at these surveys or turn them in or pass them along your network, it would be greatly appreciated. I just want to clarify that this is through Bell Policy and not through HCPF, but it is a great opportunity to share some input and talk about our direct care workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. And he did drop those into the chat. Oliver, are you aware of how long those surveys are open?
Yeah, thank you. I forgot to mention that. They're only open for a couple more days. They want to have the survey submitted by the end of the 15th. So it is short notice, but I just wanted to share that with this group because I know there's a lot of people that have networks and a lot of direct care workers. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Oliver. Any other open forum announcements that we have?
We have a question in the chat.
Thank you, Pascal. Let me get that opened up here. I've lost my chat window. That is perfect. Was it about the training modules, Pascal? Was that the one you were referring to?
Yes, I think it's from G. Pereira. Is there any kind of, yeah, you saw it.
Yeah,
I can speak
perfect.
to that.
Yeah, thank you.
So the standardized core curriculum, especially modules, will have a certificate of completion for them. There is no accreditation, if you will, but there will be you have completed this module, you've satisfactorily responded to the percentage for the test, right? So you're considered complete with these modules. So those will be available. Our real long-term goal is that these will be portable, so folks don't have to continue to take the same training at every employer they go through if they're working within the HCBS provider system. So I hope that answers that question.
Yes, thank you, Heather. And I think in the frequently asked questions we send out too, we'll clarify what's going to be included in the standardized core curriculum models as well as the 1.06 modules. We'll just kind of do a little deeper dive because I think that discerning between those two will really help with a lot of the questions we had today. I'm going to drop a survey in the chat for us to tell us how we are doing. And with that, John, I'm going to take you to your slide. Would you like me to let you share your screen or you want me to sit on this slide for a minute?
Yeah, if you could sit on this slide for a minute, that'd be great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is John Hendricks. I am the Direct Care Workforce Support Specialist, and so I am working on directcarecareers.com. I just wanted to show you this slide to kind of give you a snapshot of where we are right now. So right now we have 178 total candidates on the site, 39 active employers, 27 job posts, and 363 resources for direct care workers. And just like these numbers, our website also continues to grow. So I'm going to go into the website here and kind of show you a brand new update that we have. Bear with me while I share my screen. Let's see here. Great. All right. So what we have here is the workspace for an employer. And what we want to do is go into my job posts. And this is a job post that we had mocked up. This is actually the test site. that we're looking at here. So if we go into view details of this post, we're going to get down here. And this is just the details of the post. And what I want to show you down is actually at the bottom here is with the candidates. So we have some new features here. Prior to last week, if an employer was on the site and they wanted to contact a candidate for an interview or a job offer, they would have to go into their resume, find their number or their email address off that and contact them off-site. This is actually bringing the whole process onto the site. So the first one is that you can now filter out by candidates you want. So right now, we have our saved prospects as these two candidates. And you can also switch to top matches for candidates, and it'll bring up all the top candidates. So you can kind of filter that way. One of the other things that you can do, so if you have your top candidates, we have these new features here. So you can look at the user's profile, download their resume, contact them within the site, or add as a prospect. So we're going to go ahead and add this person as a prospect. And now that will show up at the bottom of our screen with the others as well. And we also have this drop down, which is new as well. So we can say that we're going to contact this person and we're waiting for a response, or we gave them an offer and the offer was declined, or they interviewed the candidate. So it kind of just like helps you remember where you are with the candidate within the site itself. And so for this one, we just chose candidate number 5. So we're going to go to the contact me feature, and this will bring up an email. And within the email, there's a drop down, and all of the correspondence is going to be done through templates. So this is what we're calling bidirectional messaging. So we want to go to invite for an interview, and we have different options here. So you can choose several days and times for an interview with a candidate that you find on here if you like them. So you can come through here and choose all those different times. And we have this pre-written template that says, that they saw their resume on directcarecareers.com, and it has a link also in here to the post, the job posting as well. So when the candidate receives this, they can actually remember what job that they applied for, or just have a look at that. So this is all pre-done. So once you've filled out the information within here, you can send the message. And once that sends, it takes you to my messages. So you can see the messages that you have sent. And now I'm going to go and jump over to a candidate's profile, the same candidate right here. And we'll go into my messages. And we can see that they have received the invitation for the interview. So going through and reading this, they can reply to this offer for an interview, and they can come in here and select one or two of the types of messages. So if they've already gotten a job on the website and they just have their information on there and they're not actively looking, they can always come in and decline the interview, or they can accept the interview and choose the date and time from the previous that works best for them. So, and then that will go back to the employer, and they would set up the time for that interview through this messaging system. So we have 5 different templates. The first one was the invitation for the interview, the acceptance of the interview, the decline of the interview, and the interview confirmation, as well as an interest in a position. So we're going to go back to the workspace of the candidate. So if they were interested in a job, they can actually reach out to an employer first instead of waiting for an employer to contact them. So what they can do is say, if they find a job, they can click on I'm interested. And then same thing happens. We come to the new message screen, and they can actually say, I am interested in this position, and that will be sent to the employer. So the employer can then look at their resume, their credentials, and anything on the website. So In the future, if they've done training modules, they can see what training modules they've done and what credentials they've gotten through the site. And based on that, I would just like to send out an open invite to any employers or any candidates who are using this to kind of communicate with each other about finding positions, to give us your feedback on if there's not enough templates, if the templates don't make sense to them, and anything generally on the website as well. This is just the first of a few system updates. So we're constantly adding new features. So in the future, we'll come back on to the collab and present you all of the new features. I know that was quick, but are there any questions from the group here?
I'll just hop on too and say, John, if you wouldn't mind sharing the demos that you did. I know we have a demo at the December collaborative meeting that you did for us, but I know you also recorded some demo videos for folks as well and when using the DCC. So if you could share those, I think that would be great.
Yeah, I'll grab them and pop them on there.
Thanks, John. All right. Well, thank you all for hopping just a minute over 11:30 with us. We appreciate you so much. Our next Direct Care Workforce Collaborative will be Wednesday, June 12th, so 3 months down. But we will work together to go through the chat and answer questions and post that, hopefully that frequently asked questions on our website along with the slides and the recording. Usually that takes about 5 to 7 days for us to get it all accessible and ready to go, but look for that on the website as time progresses. And last but not least, tell us how we're doing. The survey link I posted in the site there, that lets us know how we're doing, what we can do better, what we continue to do. And so thank you all so much for being here. And I'll hang on for just a few minutes in case anyone needs anything. Thank you so much.